What's going on, guys? Alright, so here's what we're doing today. I gotta get the motor and the trans mated, I gotta get it put onto the front subframe, and then I gotta take it up to Frankie's house, aka Proper Fab Works. And when I get up there, I gotta put the motor into the car so I can cut out the trans tunnel. I gotta go get this motor and trans in there so I can do all that work and finalize a couple things. The front subframe's already all built. My front knuckles, spindles, and coilovers are already all built as well. But I want to be able to maintain it all in one piece, keep it all together. Probably gonna have to pull it apart, don't want to. But let's get this motor in the air, get these CBM stands off of it so we can try to throw on the front subframe.
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah.
I got the engine hoist hooked up, and I'm starting to think that this is probably a better idea to do up the hill, but I can try to address some stuff on the transmission. You can see these scars here on the inside of the bell housing, and what's going on there is that the transmission is really snug. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to take a little material off of the bell housing, and the Scotch-Brite doesn't take off like a ton of material, but it's not grabbing that hard, it's just not sliding in and out nice and easy. And so I'd like to just take off of aluminum here, and then we'll go do the same thing. There's some paint on the trans, and I'll go run this Scotch-Brite on the G-force trans and see if we can take a little bit from both and find that happy medium between the two. It's this edge here that it mounts on. You can see it's on the surface here, so we gotta kind of try to get some off. You can see where the scraping's happening. Gotta be all back, bro. That was all back. Woo! I use socket heads on my G-force specifically because of this hole here. Let's put this thing in gear so that we can turn slip yoke if need be. Alright, so we'll go ahead, line it up, stab it, get in there. She goes. Kind of put some weight on it now. Grab it further back. Let's see. Oh yeah, the clutch isn't all. Yep, it sure is. Alright, clutch is aligned. Yeah, it's still too tight. Alright, so I don't recommend this, but I've already mounted this transmission, so I already know it works. Don't really want to press the trans in with these because if something isn't lined up, it could go bad, but I know it's lined up. So the pilot bearing's pretty brand new too, so that could just need to be broken in with the process of running it or pulling the transmission in and off. So if we can do it all outside the car and get it broken in prior to getting into the running phase, that'll be good just to help us once the car is running and we got to work on it. Everything's brand new on this, so it's all kind of like, I shouldn't be doing this corner, I should be doing this top one and this bottom one. Where'd that wrench go? Supper time! I had one of you guys dying laughing. I said that in the video. Supper time! Every time I hear a bell, it's just like the first thing that comes to my mind. Supper time! Alright, so what I'll do now is, as I do this, what I'm watching now is I'm watching the trans go in straight. Go down here. We're just walking it in now. Again, I already know that the clutch disc is all lined up. It's just all fresh, dude. Everything's way too fresh and tight. And you get like an old car or used car, transmission should go together fairly easy. Like I go put this through a season, dude, and this thing will probably even a few rounds. This thing will slide in and out no problem. So what'll happen is I'll essentially I'll pull these back out and replace them with the socket heads. Alright, so there's the trans and motor package kind of put together. Now to take it off the stands and put it onto the subframe is the question. These are the DR Concepts mounts, and then with the American Racing headers, they're not built to go together, but with a little bit of simple like notching, like here with like a flap disc, thing goes together perfect. Subframe engine all mounted in the truck. Let's get on the road. This morning I got the chassis up in the air, got the front end up in the air real quick, tore out the stock stuff, and now it's time to put in the good. Now we're doing this to test fitment and stuff and just make sure everything's going well. Steering column through the American Racing headers and all that stuff, which should be fine. This is where it gets easy because I already pre-assembled the whole front subframe on the floor with you guys. I put the DR concept mounts right here onto the block, and then I was able to just lift the subframe to the engine and boom, run a bolt through it, and now it's all bolted up. So the subframe pickup points are here, and then I have the control arms to go up into the control arm area. And then after we get this in, then we can put on the front coilovers and all that stuff. So it just makes it real simple and easy. The whole reason to do this is check the clearance on the steering column, and also I have some cutting to do for the transmission and the transmission tunnel. So I'm gonna set this motor in there, get the front subframe all bolted in, and then start making some chops and cuts to figure out where we're going with certain things and the routing on some stuff. I'm gonna roll it out. Let me put the GoPro on for you guys. Yeah, I wonder if I have the mounts on wrong. That's what's setting the subframe so far forward. Because if I have these plates on backward, it'll send the brackets forward. If I flip the brackets, it'll pull the mount back and the subframe back. But it's all clear back here. It probably can go that far back. It just needs a little bit of help. Are we stuck in it? Oh yeah, we're stuck in the trans thing. So I think that's gonna have to get cut before this can move back, because I can see where it's supposed to be. Well, I want the motor to be way further back, so I'm actually willing to run those mounts that way even if they are backward, and just compensate everywhere else. So we can have the motor all the way up against the firewall. And my other motor don't sit this far forward. All right, so here's the idea. I'm gonna try to take it up to this bend here. So we'll take it out just maybe behind, just on the back side of these holes here, and then we'll run a straight line up the side of this, maybe to this bend here. So we should have a hole that essentially goes from here straight across here. This will be our cut pretty much, and then we'll come up this way. We'll go straight up this, and we'll go to this edge here. And what we'll do is we'll leave this 90 shape in here, and this shape will allow us to mount to stuff, which these are actually tabs. If you slide these clips in here, you can run a screw through them. So I'm gonna pretty much end up just cutting along this groove here, all the way down this. It's kind of an awkward cut because the grinder goes the wrong way and it doesn't really fit in this way. And I don't want to cut it at an angle, I want to cut it straight, so I'm gonna have to stand up and kind of run it like this and backward and awkward. All right, so the battery died on the GoPro and I didn't want to stop working to go get it. But motor's all in now, all on its own engine mounts. Trans is in place. It's gonna have to be jacked up, and we're gonna kind of take some of the binding out of this area because it's bound right now because of the motors. The trans is obviously. There's Papa Choo Choo. Papa Choo Choo's here. This is Papa Choo Choo's house. This lollipop bushing here, the threads on the inside were blown out, so I had to re-tap them and stuff, and they're good now. The front control arms, SLR arms are in, along with all of our other stuff. The bolts are all ran in for the subframe, tightened down, bolts all tight. I got to get more bolts for the engine mounts. This is just a mock-up, but everything looks to be going really well. Looks real good in there. We're a little tight on this header here, which we're gonna have to figure out what we're doing. I think we're just gonna kind of move it over a bit. You can't, I don't know if you can tell from the GoPro, but it's not touching. It's just super freaking close. So all that's changed. Our steering shaft needs to be adjusted and all that stuff. So we got the trans tunnel cut out too. I cut out more of it. You can see I cut out further up to the top to get space for this box. So now this can actually, we can actually probably lift up the trans and put something across here just to kind of help support the rear end of it while we build the trans mount. But that's all in there now. Yeah, this slid, so it lost position, which is unfortunate because I had it right where I wanted it, but whatever, I'll have to redo it. But you can kind of see the line of the, where the steering wheel is gonna be and the shifter. It's really nice. Everything's set a little further back in this car. Let me grab the BC coils. I'll throw it in here with the SLR steering plates, and then we should be able to set the car down on the front end on its own tires. So let's get it. Sweet, front ends together. So this is all just kind of thrown together, and the reason I'm not too concerned about that, I just wanted the bottom out so that it doesn't have any slop in it. Everything has to get ran through, and that all has to get paint mark on every single nut and bolt that we're touching. And that's just the standard that we've established and put into our program, and it's produced amazing results. So that's what we do now. That's just the way it goes, okay? All right, dudes, motor's in.
I didn't know we were recording, dude. I thought we were taking.
No, we're recording. Right?
Can we start?
Yeah. Okay, ready? All right, guys. So the motor's into the car. The trans is also in there.
Is it?
Yep.
I'm just kidding.
Let's say you helped me do it, guy. I was like, wait, what? We got the BCs up in the front. We got to tighten the top hats. I'll do all that off the camera. Yeah, things coming together. What we're gonna end up doing next is we're gonna start building the whole front end, all the bash bars and all the fabrication work that's gonna take to be done in the front end to kind of reconstruct it, because what essentially we do is deconstruct the car, tear out and cut out a bunch of material, and now we gotta start adding a bunch of stuff back in it to get it back together. That's what we gotta do. The front end, the rear end's pretty much reconstructed. It's gotta be finalized though, and then the proper arms are about to be done here shortly. And then the front end's done. Once all the landing plates and the welding's done, then the car goes off to either paint or powder coat. We're still not sure yet, but if there's anybody out there who does some powder coating, hit me up. I kind of want to get my whole chassis powder coated. Not too much more left. It's gonna be a good time, dude. I'm super excited. This new CBM motor looks beast in here, dude. Looks so good. So excited, dude. Thank you guys, as always, for all the support. Thank you for following us and subscribing and commenting and liking. All that stuff helps out. I really, really appreciate it. As always, stay safe.